For all of you who listen to Submersion and own an Android device, go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android device. I personally use the app and I love it. I can search for the podcast I want to listen to, select it as a favorite, and have it just a click away. Make sure you select Submersion as a favorite so you don't miss any of our new episodes every Thursday. Again, the app is the Podcast Republic app, available on Android devices. There it is, episode 94.
Woo! Woo! And
it's sad for some of us.
Yeah, I would say it's sad, I guess.
I'm sad.
I'm not.
This is the most fun I've had the entire time we've done the podcast.
Good. Wow, it only took roughly 2 years to have fun. And Brom,
yes, sir.
Sad, happy, what's going on here?
I think I'm happy. I'm ready to put the Godzilla movie month to bed. I was kind of holding out, hoping that this was going to right the ship for me, and I don't want to spoil too much, but it sounds like you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. But it's going to be a divisive one, and I think we're going to let some fireworks loose.
I think that's probably right. I would kind of agree. I think, even though I think my opinion on this film matches most others, I actually think my opinion of the previous film in the American series might not. I think there's going to be a lot of differences of opinion, potentially, for this series.
Stick around, listeners.
For Jamie, After Hours.
Oh, I'm going to be going first on my my ratings, because I have opinions.
But then when you do the other movie, you'll be going after Hours.
Oh, I see. Right.
We'll just do this. We'll do the credits, and then you can just continue on for however long. And then,
you mean my micropod about Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, the second Lara Croft film? Very true.
Jamie approached me at a grocery store. Mm-hmm. He was stalking me, and
this is accurate.
He said, "Kyle," and I said, "What are you doing? Where'd you come from?"
I said, "Who are you?"
His head popped out of a bunch of melons. And I was like, oh my God, it's disguised. But anyways, besides that, he found a submarine in Lara Croft Tomb Raider 2, right? Is that 2 or
I think
1?
It would be called Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. They didn't go for the second colon, which was a mistake. They did a dash, The Cradle of Life.
It is a disappointment. Why not do another
double colon? Just go for it. If you're really going to do that, then you just got to go for it.
Those are the movies with Pam Anderson as her, right?
No.
Oh.
It's not even funny.
You talking about the double colon, though, right, Zach?
Alex.
But yeah,
going.
so
anyways,
so there's basically a scene. Lara Croft, she's like shipwrecked. She's like basically on the verge of death, and uplifts a full-blown nuclear submarine. And she's just like sitting on top of it, and her like colleagues come to rescue her. And it's literally in the film for 6 seconds, something like that.
It's about the same as what was in the first movie in the American Godzilla reboot, the 2014 one.
Yeah. I'd say it's a similar amount of time for both of those.
And we're officially not going to count it, or do we just want to mention it here and that counts it, I guess?
Maybe it'll end up as a micropod, because that's what I approached Kyle about, the possibility of doing short episodes where we do like a 3-minute timed recap with a couple, just a couple little games that you play, and then you're out. You're Audi 5000 on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes tops.
No big deal.
Look for those in the future.
Yeah, watch them slowly expand until they're a full hour and a half.
And we're like, micropod. And then these really grow into a 3-hour ordeal, and everybody just stops listening.
No. Everyone, all of a sudden we realize that's
we made IHOP commercials into an hour episode, so.
Right.
Damn straight.
Yeah, that could have been a micropod in retrospect.
It's all right.
But anyways, dive!
Time to submerge sideways.
Go Godzilla, go Godzilla. Godzilla's in your house, Godzilla's in my house. It's gonna get you when you go to sleep. Godzilla drives a Lambo, you know he ain't cheap. Go, what you doing now? Evening in Tokyo, burn it to the ground. Fighting King Kong and you fighting Mothra. Fight the whole world, you're Godzilla. And they're gonna fall. They're all gonna bow to the king of monsters, 'cause you're Godzilla. Godzilla, y'all. Cause y'all Godzilla, y'all. Go Godzilla, go Godzilla. Go Godzilla, go Godzilla.
Love it. Gonna miss it.
It's my crowning achievement.
Well, why don't we just keep it theme song? I'm confused.
Oh, we could. Yeah.
Just change the lyrics, Kyle, with each movie.
Good
okay.
idea. Yeah.
Cool.
Go,
I will not
James
have a
Bond.
voice.
Go, James Bond. James Bond drives an Aston Martin. You know he ain't cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to change that. He's not driving a Lambo.
You could
way,
easily do
man.
that, Kyle, for the Fast and the Furious films.
Yeah,
Very true.
and you got to make sure
Very
he's
true.
also not driving a Lambo.
Oh,
Right?
some people do drive a Lambo.
Yeah, but he drives American Muscle.
Wasn't that a Lambo, the one that went underwater?
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, he does drive a Lambo.
Up on the ice. Lambo. All right. Anyways, Alex, you have loved every single one of these movies, so I can't even let you announce this one. Zach has had mixed feelings on them the whole time. So, Zach, for the final Godzilla Movie Month movie, which is your brainchild, what did we watch?
Well, we watched the 2019 film Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yeah.
Talk
Just to
like
be
that the
clear-
rest of the podcast.
What are you talking about? I always talk like... I already messed it up.
But to be clear, it's not King of the Monstars from Space Jam. It's just King of the Monsters, right?
Yes, correct. This is not a surprise sequel to that movie. No.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Could have been.
Yeah, eventually they'll just merge the franchises. Once LeBron has a Space Jam, they'll probably bring these two together, one would think. If they're smart about
It
it.
would have been a welcome surprise, I'd say. Can you imagine?
If
the end
LeBron
of
was,
this
yeah, like
movie, all of a
LeBron's
sudden-
jamming on Godzilla at the end of this film, and you're like, word. Mm-hmm. Right?
I'd have watched that.
You don't watch basketball? You would have
No,
watched
but
it?
I would have watched that.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Anyways, yes, the 2019 film, not Space Jam sequel, starring Kyle Chandler as Dr. Mark Russell, Vera Farmiga, I'm sure I pronounced that very incorrectly, as Dr.
right.
Emma Russell, Millie Bobby Brown as Madison Russell. We got a theme going on here. It's a family-oriented film, if that's what you're looking for. Ken Watanabe reprising his role as Dr. Ishiro Shirazawa.
You definitely
it's
butchered his
Watanabe.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, Watanabe and it's Serizawa.
Oh, well.
Did you catch his last name? Has anybody else ever seen the original Godzilla? Like the
I've seen it,
original
yeah.
154?
Gojira?
1954.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
of
did you?
course.
I mean, you caught on that that Serizawa. That's like the same name from the doctor from that original movie.
The guy with the eye patch?
Yeah. Same name. And then, like, so we can get to it once we get to the recap with Jamie, but the ending, well, the final scene with Ken in this movie is similar to the original scene in the original movie when they go down. I won't spoil it.
Similar. Not perfect.
Not perfect or not the same?
Kyle, you're missing somebody
Either
in the
one.
cast that really needs to be mentioned.
Sally Hawkins?
No.
Not really.
Thomas Middleditch?
Tywin Lancaster.
No.
O'Shea Jackson Jr., a.k.a. Ice Cube Jr.?
No.
Bradley
on.
Whitford?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's my guy.
Or West Wing.
What?
Yeah,
Bradley
Western.
Whitford? That's
Yeah.
Eric from Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Ah,
And then
love
he's
him.
on West Wing. He worked for the president.
Right.
West
Very
Wing.
true.
But yeah, I feel like it was a all-star cast when you look through those names. That's a pretty formidable cast. A lot of TV actors in there. You're talking Charles
It's a
Dance.
deep cast. It's not a star-studded cast. It's
That's true. Yeah. Some people on their way up, some people on their way down, and a lot of TV. Probably the person in the cast who's having the most like movie success right now, oddly, is Vera Farmiga, who's in all those horror films.
Horror films. And she was in
Yeah.
The Departed.
Yeah, so I mean, she seems to be kind of steady, very successful work right now. Whereas
Yeah,
people are on the rise
first one
or
of the
on the way down.
series too that had a completely different cast, and it was kind of the same thing too. It wasn't very star-studded in spite of the massive budget.
Yeah, other than the people they killed off almost immediately.
Now I will
Yeah,
need
some
to
about the
say,
2014 film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just like murder the most like famous actors in the film immediately, basically.
I will need to say Sally Hawkins was in 2 phenomenal movies. They were called Paddington and Paddington 2.
Hold your tongue.
And she fucked a fish man in that other film.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they won an Oscar, so don't be too disgusted. They won Best Picture.
The Shape of Water.
Shape
What
of
he said.
Water. That's right.
Oh,
But yep, this was a different director though than the first one. Michael Dougherty took over. The
Columbus.
franchise.
Give me an OH. Our guy. Born and raised.
Oh, I
Columbus,
see.
Ohio.
And so he had really not directed too much at all.
Okay.
Prior to this one.
Let's let Zach have his
I'm not
moment
a
there.
Buckeyes fan.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we jump into this guy? I mean, I feel like
please.
we're
Please
we're
do.
turning
Speaking
a
of
little
dead
bit.
horse right now. Just get it going.
Perfect. So they open this, and it's very much like a Transformers type film, where at least you appreciate the fact that they don't pretend like the events of the first movie, which would have been devastating for the Earth, like didn't happen. Everyone's like sitting there being like, "I hope Godzilla's not coming back." That was weird, right? No, like in this case, everything has changed. 5 years ago, Godzilla came, defended Earth from 2 things known as the Titans, aka, I mean, they kind of gave him the generic name Mutos at the time. But since then, Monarch has become like much, much bigger. And this was kind of like a funny little nitpick you can make. Like the amount of money they must have put into Monarch at that point would have been insane. Like just the facilities they had built at that point. And then they're like, the whole point of the movie or part of the movie is them going to defund Monarch. It's like, how much must that program cost? Trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. But they basically, they found all of these Titans all over the world. So they know about King Kong, Skull Island. They know about Godzilla, but everyone kind of says, oh, we don't know where Godzilla is. But then there's like a whole bunch of other ones all around the world at that point. And we're
Like
introduced
17 or something
17
like that?
total, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which was outrageous that they're even trying to defund Monarch because,
Right. What are
like
you gonna
you
do with
said,
them?
it's such a large investment, and they know that the monsters are there. They even have some of them housed in their facilities.
well, they were going to kill them. I think that
They're
that's
like, well,
point.
you know,
Yeah. We're going to
gonna get rid
defund
of
you
these
and we're going
guys.
to kill them, which was part of my nitpick of the first film, is why they would have just like hung out studying that giant spore that bore the Titans for years and years and years without thinking maybe we should like cut this thing in half before studying it. Like they study dead things all the time, and it's a giant like monster. But anyways, in this case, it's clearly it's just like a funny aspect where they're like, and we're defunding you. It's like you've already, I mean, look at that facility they had in Antarctica. That thing would have, like the most expensive building on Earth. So like defunding it at that point seems kind of moot. You're not really saving much by defunding the program that you already sunk all your money into. Anyways, we're introduced to our main character, Dr. Emma Russell. She's a biologist, a paleobiologist. She's like developing this new thing. Her daughter, played by Millie Bobby Brown, what was her name? I'm actually having trouble. Emma. No, sorry. What was it?
Dr. Emma, Jamie.
Yeah, sorry. What was the daughter's name, though?
Madison.
Madison. So Madison is sitting there, and she's a little concerned about her mom. Her mom's been like working really hard on this new project or this new device that she's building, and she's kind of been in communication with her dad, even though they're estranged. It's basically shown that their son had died in that first attack. They were employees of Monarch. He kind of dealt with it in one way. She dealt with it in a different way. She like dived into work with Monarch. He became an alcoholic and eventually started studying wolves.
Classic.
Out in Colorado. So
They're doing photography.
right, and so they've kind
So
of
who
really.
really won at the end of the day, Jamie? Who
I think
won?
he did. It was a very relaxing lifestyle. I feel like he had.
It was. You get the party, and then, maybe I just want to chill with some wolves.
Exactly.
Take some photos.
And so they've diverged their paths, and the daughter's concerned about him, but also concerned about her mom at that point. And what we find out is she's developed this new device to potentially control these Titans. And they go, and we're like, word, there's Mothra. I love Mothra, and I personally love Mothra. I think it's one of the great Titans of the whole series that we had, and it's really fun to see Mothra. So Mothra basically hatches from the cocoon, or not cocoon, hatches from into larva state or whatever, and comes out and is basically tearing apart like the whole facility. And they're like, oh, someone must have sabotaged this. Like they start to get a little concerned, but she's like, I'm going to use my device. Don't worry about it. We'll handle Mothra. And she goes in, she turns on this device, and she's basically learned how to present like alpha signals to these Titans, and she can press it, and they basically like do whatever she wants them to do. She is the alpha.
They submit to her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it gets really calmed down, and at that point, Millie Bobby Brown also runs in there, and they're kind of like amazed by this creature. At the same time, big explosion. In walks Charles Dance.
Hold on.
Probably
come on. In walks Tywin Lannister.
I was gonna say probably best known from The Golden Child, starring Eddie Murphy.
Tyron?
I think at this point.
Tywin Lancaster, actually.
Yeah. And he busts in. He's like, fuck you guys. Shoots everyone. Goes in there and is like, we're taking Mothra. Don't even worry about it. We're taking your device and we're stealing you. And so.
That's a terrible Tywin Lancaster impression.
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Tywin Lannister. I'm taking Mothra. How's that?
That was
Solid.
that was good.
Yeah. So they kidnap Emma and
I don't know what just
Madison.
happened here, but
So anyways, Emma and Madison are kidnapped. Mothra flies out and goes into a waterfall to turn into a pupa. And basically, I'm not even sure. Should have been a pupa? Shouldn't have been a cocoon? It's a Mothra, right? Mothra. Anyways. A pupa would have been a butterfly. Come on. Anyways. At the same time, they're doing this big kind of semi-humorous presentation in front of Congress. Congress is like, hey, we're going to defund you. And our scientists, which we knew from the 2014 Godzilla film, Ishiro Serizawa and Vivian Graham, they are basically giving this whole presentation about why they shouldn't be defunded and how Godzilla is really like the defender of Earth. And at the same time, they get notice that something's happened at this Monarch facility, and they just like skedaddle. And it's really bad. Obviously, Monarch's going to get like defunded, but they have to go because this is like a huge, huge deal. And so the first thing they do is they approach Kyle Chandler, who plays the husband, Dr. Mark Russell. And they're basically like, we just got to let you know, we're bringing you as a consultant. You need to help us kind of figure out what the next move is. Because your wife's here, been kidnapped, and you understand the Titans second best. She knows it best. You're second. You're going to help us. And he goes in and basically immediately is like, you should have killed these things. Because guess what? I killed my son. And I'm not totally into the idea that you have 17 of these goddamn things holed up all across the earth, including in like Wyoming. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's right there. And in Arizona has one, all kinds of stuff. And so, he kind of like storms out at that point, but eventually, because they're like in like an underwater, basically they're in like an Atlantic base or something like that, and all of a sudden they get where Godzilla's like on the way, and Kyle Chandler's character Mark, he's like, wait a second, you guys aren't playing this right. He is trying to intimidate you. You got to say we're friendly, and then he'll help us find what we're looking for. That's the only way we're going to know where to go, is we got to follow him. And so he like tells him to like take down the shield, let Godzilla know that we're submitting to him, King of the Monster, title of the film, and let him then guide us to where we're going. And they do that. Godzilla's like super happy with that. Kind of like buzzes them real quick, let them know who's boss one more time, and then starts heading. And they're like, where is it heading? And they all gasp. He's heading to Antarctica. And Mark's like, who cares? Antarctica's got nothing in it. No one lives there. It's basically a hunk of ice. Who gives a shit? And they're like, actually, it does house one thing. What does it house, Zach?
Dun, 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 dun. King Ghidorah.
Who does King Ghidorah work for?
Anyways.
I was
soon.
following up with Zach's Austin Powers reference. So.
Thank you, Ben.
I see. So anyways, they bust in. They're going to, and Charles Dance running the show, he's like, bust out Ghidorah. And she's kind of doing what she's told, like Dr. Emma Russell, and she's like, they're setting it all up. She's setting up her thing. She's ready to kind of get it going. They're going to press a button when it's up, and they're like, we got to hurry because they're gonna soon know where we are. Like, we got to just like quickly go. And
something
indeed,
here that people should note is she has been taken hostage by Charles Dance, and this is not really a bad hostage situation. When they get off the helicopter, did you guys notice what they were wearing?
No,
it's like those $1,000, $1,500 Canada jackets. I was like, wow, I'd like to be taken prisoner by him. Sounds pretty decent.
just for the jacket.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just got to keep your eyes forward because they killed all kinds of people and they were not. That was traumatizing. I think.
Yeah, they got a shitload of money because they got like Arctic camo loadouts and the white rifles and everything. Like they're equipped for war on the ice.
Have we found out what have they said yet? And at this point in the movie, Jamie, that what they're fighting for, like why they're releasing these Titans? Or is that about to happen?
I think they're kind of going to explain, because what happens next is they basically get to the base. They're aware of this. They're already trying to wrap stuff up and get ready to free Ghidorah, but Kyle Chandler's there. A bunch of other people are there, and they have kind of Marine type people who are going to go in and try to rescue and stop them from freeing Ghidorah. And they go in, and eventually Kyle Chandler runs in after them. But they kind of get into this big scuffle, and they're able to corner them at like a bridge. And at that point, they drop the little signal thing that would have exploded out Ghidorah. And Kyle Chandler's like, whew, thank God, my wife, estranged, but still my wife, Dr. Emma Russell, has picked up this thing. She's a good guy. Come here, and everything's going to be safe. And what does she do? She's into it. She's like, no, I'm pushing the button. I'm sorry. I'm actually into this. And she pushes the button.
You see this jacket? You ever get me one of these? You alcoholic piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's like, dude,
yeah.
I guess I didn't.
Yeah, sure. I wouldn't remember because I was an alcoholic, so maybe I did. And then she's like, no. I was like, damn it. And then she pushes the button. Ghidorah, all the ice starts falling. It's one of those hilarious scenes, and that happens in all these big budget films where like they clearly all would have died. Like, it's just like there's just no way that thousands and thousands of tons of ice would fall all around you and no one would get even like remotely injured at that point.
And what is one of the first things that you are always told when an emergency happens?
Tuck in, stop, drop, and roll, baby.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Close.
Stop, drop, and stroll out of there.
Oh. No. Well,
don't use the elevator.
Exactly. That's what I was going for.
Yes, I nailed it.
Yes,
it only took us
not use the elevator.
Right, but he jumps in the elevator.
Immediately gets in the elevator.
Yeah, he's like crying. He's like, my wife, my daughter, what have I done? Why have they forsaken me? And then he's going up in his elevator. He looks down. He sees the rest of his colleagues down there. They're like struggling. They're going to get crushed by ice. He's like, fuck. He can't pursue his wife. He has to go back down, pick these jokesters up, bring them back up. They all escape. Charles Dance and the wife and stuff like that. They're gone. And at this point, again, there's a million times, like all kinds of shit is like falling all over the place. At one point, there's a giant explosion, and Kyle Chandler's blown 50 feet through the air against a metal like container, and he's just fine. Afterwards, he's just like, yeah, I was okay. And Godzilla,
you see that?
Yeah, he was like, he's perfect. He's not even like, I got a little sore from having been blown away by that explosion. His organs would have been turned to jelly at that point, and he would have died. But anyways,
let's Mythbusters. Let's
do it. Let's try
see what
it out.
They can do. They can launch me against the metal.
Oh, you're volunteering. I was going to volunteer Zach, but you want to do it?
Kyle can take this one.
Okay,
I'll do the next one.
I've lived a life.
So anyways, they're kind of running around. Everything looks super dire. They've called in like the main, the big ship. They have this like giant stealth fighter looking ship. They had flown in originally in helicopters. That whole thing gets destroyed. Godzilla comes and starts fighting Ghidorah a little bit, and they have their first battle, which I was happy about because one of my critiques of the 2014 film was they kept on cutting the battles like halfway through. They just kept on like Godzilla would start fighting one person, and then the person would like pass out.
Yeah,
and then
you
they just like wake up.
Enough in the 2014 version. This time, the director even said, he's like, what did he say? He's like, he compared the 2014 one to like Alien. He's like, and what I'm going to make is Aliens.
Right, yeah.
Gloves off, balls to the wall movie.
Yeah. And so then also one of the important things is that Dr. Graham, Sally Hawkins, she is eaten at this point. Ghidorah comes up and eats her. She had saved Kyle Chandler's character. So anyways, he wakes up. They're obviously devastated by what has happened. They're trying to track Ghidorah at this point. And it seems to be that Ghidorah is like creating a storm, and everything is really confusing because what we hear now is the actual plan. So they've, Charles Dance and Emma, they've gone to a bunker in Boston. We don't know it's in Boston yet, but it's in Boston, where she's from. And they are going to start using the tool to release the rest of the Titans over time. And the idea is that, okay, they're releasing these monsters because they are benevolent forces for the earth. Now they'll destroy humans and eat everyone and destroy cities and stuff like that. But what they found is that every time they destroy cities, wherever they go, life kind of sprouts up and everything restarts. So even in like Las Vegas from the first film where, one of the Titans went through Las Vegas, it turned into like an oasis in the desert. And so basically it's kind of like reversing all the stuff that humans had done over time. And so the idea is whether they're going to release all of them, Godzilla will be the king of them, and they will reset Earth, and the survivors of the humans will kind of fall in line with what Godzilla wants in some ways. We'll become quote unquote the pets, but really just let Earth be Earth while they, live peacefully with the Titans. And so, but what they didn't expect was what's happening with King Ghidorah, because Ghidorah is flying around and there's this giant storm. And I forget who tells them about it being an alien. Is there someone in particular?
Xi Zhang, I think, maybe?
Someone mentions how it's actually, they've been looking at some of the ancient writings and stuff like these legends. And it turns out that King Ghidorah, the reason why it seems like everything's been thrown for a loop by releasing King Ghidorah, unfortunately released first, is that it's not actually of Earth. So it's not a benevolent force. It's not trying to renew Earth. It's actually trying to destroy Earth. It wants to just rule Earth as like a hell on Earth, quote unquote. And so it's flying over and it's trying to get allies, and it has a big storm. It's got a lot of unnatural stuff kind of follows in its wake. And so it's heading straight for Costa Rica, where did they release that one too, or is that?
Rodan?
Yeah, that was one. So they Charles Dance released that one as well, Rodan, before they left.
Wasn't this the point of the movie when
King Ghidorah starts releasing them himself?
That's what. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they all start coming out because then Charles Dance is just like, what did he say? He said that's when he said like "Long live the king" or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so, so it kind of like on his own, King Ghidorah wakes up Rodan, who's in Costa Rica, and explodes out of a volcano. I also saw in one of the trivia, this is where I realized I can't read the IMDb trivia. It's like, IMDb trivia. Did you know Rodan's blood is actually magma? I'm like, great. Now, that's not really trivia about this movie. Like, that's just trivia you made up. Anyone could say that. Did you know, King Kong's blood is actually apple juice? It's like, that's not real.
It explains a lot, though.
It does explain a lot. And so so I guess they're saying Rodan was in Mexico. I thought it was in Costa Rica. But anyways, Mexico. And Rodan comes out. This big old crazy thing. I did like this. The monster design in this was incredible. And it's flying around. It's kind of doing all kinds of destruction, lots of fire, all kinds of stuff. They weren't even able to like evacuate everyone before Rodan busted out of that volcano. But Monster Zero comes along and totally fucks him up. And that's where things like all of a sudden Charles Dance is like, shit. Because like clearly King Ghidorah is trying to put itself as an alpha, and Rodan's like bowing down to it. Mm-hmm. It was right up, teaming up right away with Monster Zero, with Ghidorah. So Godzilla comes along, thank God, our hero, and starts to do battle with our boy Ghidorah at the same time that they're trying to fly away. So all of like the people from Monarch, Kyle Chandler, everyone, they're trying to fly away at this point because things have totally gone awry and the world is basically being destroyed. They need to get away. Ghidorah's trying to fly after them. Rodan's trying to fly after them. And Godzilla comes along and starts to fight with Ghidorah, and actually gets a little bit of an upper hand at this point. He's able to rip off one of the heads, which is pretty good. There's only 3 of them, right? So like 1 down, 2 to go, right, guys?
Right, not bad.
Not bad. But the U.S. military is like, we're going to go fuck up your world because we're going to be sending a missile there. And like, oh, missile, no big deal. And they're like, no, you don't understand. This is an oxygen destroyer. And so it's going to just destroy oxygen for like 2 miles around. So probably everything will die. So don't even worry about it. So they're able to get zoom away. The missile hits. It's basically this giant nuclear explosion kind of. Ghidorah is unaffected. Remember, alien. So oxygen destroyer doesn't phase it. Probably doesn't even breathe oxygen. It doesn't breathe at all. I don't know.
What is his blood made out of?
Who knows? Probably sausages. No?
All right. So that oxygen destroyer that kind of comes out of nowhere in this movie.
Yeah.
That's they had the same exact technology in the original 1954 Godzilla. That's what they used to take out that Godzilla.
I see.
Yeah.
That's the big secret weapon the whole time. And you see it used more in that movie than you do here.
Yeah. In this movie, it's kind of like, all right, let's kind of connect it. Let's throw back to the original, which is fine, but it's kind of just thrown in this one. In the original, yeah, it's way more creative.
Right, the guy doesn't even want to release it because he said,
well,
this will kill everything.
Yeah, the Serizawa from that film burns all of his research, everything, because he knows that it's a terrible weapon. But then he uses it and dies, taking out Godzilla. In this film, I don't really think Serizawa has anything to do with this oxygen thing, but he uses that nuclear device later on in the film.
Yeah.
But in this case, he uses it to help Godzilla.
Right.
The oxygen destroyer, Zach, I read, please confirm, created one of the kaiju in the Japanese lore, Destroya.
Destroya.
Right?
I'd have to look it up to verify, but I believe it. Destroya was a crazy
I
one.
read that earlier.
And so, anyways, everything is like real sad. They watch Godzilla literally die. We see a little, even like they have like a heart rate, and like it's like, beep. And I was like, wow, they really know Godzilla really well. They have a lot of good technology here. And they're like, oh, Godzilla's dead. So they go back to the base in the Atlantic near like Bermuda or whatever. And they're just like chilling there. They're like, what are we going to do? So Mothra emerges, and everyone's like pretty psyched about that because guess what? Mothra, pretty much like the helper of Godzilla. They're like, maybe we have one more savior. Maybe we don't just have Godzilla. Maybe Mothra can help us. Did you notice anything about like the little like Easter egg with the Mothra, Zach, in the film?
I mean, there was a lot, I think, but which, like the design of Mothra, like the eyes on her wings.
So there was that one scientist.
Her connection with her. Yeah.
So Zhang Zi, Dr. Ellen Chen, and Dr. Ling. So she has a twin sister, Dr. Ling, who's the one who is there when Mothra is hatched or whatever.
Yeah.
And they show like a picture when they're growing up, and they're like the 2 twins.
Exactly.
So they're the Mothra twins. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is always, that's what I liked about this film. They had those throwbacks, those connections.
Yeah. And so at this point, Mothra is able to kind of communicate. Ooh. A little tough here.
A little tough.
Yeah. So Mothra's able to communicate with Godzilla, and they find that Godzilla is actually alive, but underwater, recuperating in an underwater like kingdom. And finally, we get some of our submarine action because they all gather on a submarine and they head down there to be like, yeah, they basically are going to go there and whisper in Godzilla's ear like, yo, bro, like you better get back into the fight. So they go down there. It's basically Atlantis at this point. It's like ancient things like, are those Romans? Are those Greeks? They're like, they're neither. They're even more ancient. And it's all people who worship Godzilla. And Godzilla is living in there, and it's super duper radioactive, even to the point where like drones are totally melting. And they're like, yeah, he's in there like recuperating, getting stronger with this radioactivity. And they're like, we need that faster. So we got to explode like a nuclear bomb there, and he'll become like super strong, right? And they're like, yeah, science. And so then they're like, but we can't do it. Nothing will survive. And what's his name? Dr. What was his name?
Serizawa.
Yeah. Is like, I'll do it. And so he goes out there, basically like, you're going to die. And he's like, I'm willing to sacrifice myself. And so he goes out there, basically goes up to Godzilla. He's like, hey, bro, how's it going? He like pats him on the nose. and then sets the timer for the bomb. They're going away in their beautiful submarine as the explosion goes off, and Godzilla is super powered in like kind of a good but also kind of a bad way. At the same time, Madison has disowned her mom. It's like, fuck you, mom. You destroyed the world. And so she decides she's going to steal that little device that she made, the Orca, and play its tunes to let everyone know, all the Titans know, hey, there's a new alpha in town. Now, the problem is, of course, Monarch would know where they are, and Ghidorah would be like, what the fuck, and come and fuck up wherever they are. So they didn't want to do that. But she goes up to Fenway Park, beautiful park, home of the Red Sox, go Red Sox, and she starts playing this thing. And all the Titans stop all across the world. All the Titans have been rampaging around because Ghidorah told them to. They're like, actually, I'm hearing this new alpha, and I'm into that instead. And Ghidorah's like, fuck that. And so Ghidorah's been like destroying Washington, D.C. for a while because it recognizes it's the seat of power for the United States, and heads up to Boston, heads up to whatever, I-90, and is like, yo, Boston, ready to get literally destroyed. Yes, we want. And goes over there, and Madison's like, maybe I made a tiny mistake, because Ghidorah starts creeping around Fenway, and she's like, oh shit. She has to like turn it off and try to run away. At this point, everyone realizes it was a terrible mistake. Emma is like, I need to find my daughter. Kyle Chandler's like, I gotta find my daughter. They converge on Boston. They're like, we gotta find our daughter. And so they start like, he's like searching around Fenway, can't find her. They get in a car, they drive over to their house where it was her childhood home, and it's been already destroyed. Ghidorah has gone just rampaging around Boston. It's basically not even a city anymore. And the house is gone. She's in a bathtub, and they're able to kind of survive it. At this point, Godzilla and Ghidorah are just like pounding it out. Mothra comes in, and Rodan's on the other side. So it's basically like 2 against 2. And they're all fighting each other. Mothra's like, at one point, Rodan gets the upper hand, but then Mothra like stings him a little bit, and then gets around and get whatever, and he gets like a little wing bitten out a little bit. But in the end, Mothra's able to subdue Rodan, and then Godzilla and King Ghidorah are duking it out even more, and they keep on saying like, oh, he's gonna go nuclear. He's like so superpowered that he's gonna fucking explode. So we all got to watch out when he goes nuclear, because it's going to be pretty tough. And they keep on fighting. And eventually Emma realizes that she has to kind of sacrifice herself. The only way that this is all going to work is that that she needs to like what? She needs to like help him, or what does she do again, Emma?
Our little MacGuffin device, she is going to annoy Ghidorah by playing the resonance frequency to pause all the monsters again and direct control away from Ghidorah, which offends Ghidorah, and Ghidorah is going to have to chase after it. So
Ghidorah chases after her, destroys her. Duh. So she dies. She sacrifices herself. Mark and Madison get away. They're able to escape, and Godzilla is able to recuperate a little bit. He's like super powered again. Comes up, totally melts everything around him. He's like super nuclear at that point, and is able to just basically use his like super nuclear breath to destroy Ghidorah at that point. And he reverts back to his normal state, and everyone else comes around, and they're basically like, all hail the king. And they bow down to him, and they're like, King of the Monsters, Godzilla. And pretty much that's the end of the movie. I mean, I think there's some implications about what might happen next. Obviously, this is a devastating event for Earth, so I'm not sure exactly what the state of Earth would be for the sequel. But in the end credits, we also see that what's his name, Charles Dance, is trying to buy Titan objects. Basically, the world is destroyed, economies are destroyed, and everyone's just kind of trying to survive. So they're selling anything they can, including material from the different Titans, which includes the severed head of Ghidorah that was found near Mexico or whatever. And so, exactly. That's the lament
Sweet end
of
credit
Godzilla.
song.
It was sweet.
A cover of
It was.
Blue Oyster Cult's Go Go Godzilla, performed by Serge Tankian of System of a Down.
And that was the first time.
Friend of the show.
Another trivia thing, that was the first time that was ever in a Godzilla film.
The Go Go Godzilla song.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, might as well have it here. And obviously it's on theme with the concept of, what is it? How does it go? History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. Boom, 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 boom.
Nice. So next, do we do ratings right away, or we do love it or hate it?
Kyle, you're new. What do you want to do?
Oh, I'm new. Okay.
Yeah, you haven't been here for a while.
Let's do love it or hate it, and then we will talk about our ratings.
I call first.
All
On
right.
ratings.
Love it and hate it. Which one first?
Love it.
Ooh.
I love it. This is from Reld from June 2019. Wait, did you say love it or hate it?
Love it.
Love it.
Oh, crap. Never mind. All right. The love it is from Gunji Guess It from May 2019. 10 out of 10. It's what Godzilla is supposed to be. Not totally sure why people are coming out of seeing the film with the "it's not what I expected" attitude. It's Godzilla. It's based on the King of Monsters fighting to keep the title. Literally, but not literally. It's everything I loved about all the previous iterations. The raw power, the sound, the death toll, the bleak realization that humans are so low down the food chain their existence is almost pointless. Absolutely spot on. Good cast, etc. If I had one criticism, it would be the flamboyant disregard for the effects of radiation. They use it like fire,
Yep.
but without the consequences of nuclear fallout.
Yep.
Smiley face. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's good. I actually think that's a reasonable 10 out of 10, considering his critique is more of a nitpick than anything else.
Now for hate it. This is from Aruld from June 2019. 1 out of 10. Dude. ... I'm in cinema right now and about to leave as this film is so bad. A combination of all stereotypes and nonsense. Ridiculous. I'm sad to see 11 and Lannister dad in such failure. 1 out of 10.
It was
Great.
It was very tropesy. That's about all I agree with of that review, though. But it was very tropesy.
Sure. And I can go straight into my review in some ways, because I think what I would say about this is that you can pick apart a lot of blockbusters that come out. I think Marvel films, DC films, these types of films, Transformer films, all of them can kind of be picked apart. I think if you really looked at whether this delivered on what I kind of was hoping it was going to deliver on, I think it was spectacular visually. Like that's the one thing I will say. It was like at times it was almost like they were painting pictures, like when the submarine's diving and you have that kind of long shot of it diving downwards. It really is at this point that CGI had gotten to where you could just put onto screen visually stunning paintings or like portraits of exactly what they wanted to show. I thought the creature effects were really good. I thought the fights were really good. From that point of view, I was happy that what did you want out of one that's like King of the Monsters, some of these fights, and not to kind of pull away from that like they did in 2014. I was happy with that. I think just like Transformers, it really suffered a little bit in regards to the story. Like you can't make a complex story when everything else is so complex. Like when the point of the movie is to have all these visual stuff, I think it's really, really, really difficult to walk that tightrope and have it be a solid story. So you end up falling into those like Marvel kind of jokes joke fillers with two-dimensional kind of funny characters and serious characters with like a family storyline to kind of center it around. And then they're like, okay, good, we're done. And they kind of like wipe their hands clean. But, in the end, that's going to be really any of these ones that you see. So I thought this was pretty good. I actually had guessed last week that I was going to give this a 6. I'm actually going to come in a little higher. I'm going to come in more with what Zach said he was going to come in, and come in actually at a 7. And I think one point I will make before handing it over to someone else is that I think I had anticipated liking the first one more than this one, just based on reviews and what I had generally heard. I like this one more than the first one. I thought the first one was actually not very good.
Yeah, the first one sucked.
And it's a little amazing that it was flip-flopped that way, and that the other one was so much more successful than this one was. A little bit shocking, and I can understand maybe being just this kind of city-destroying, big spectacle, almost DC-like, type of blockbuster. Maybe it's just worn out its welcome, and people are asking more of them now. They want those stories to be deeper, and they want them to be more interesting. But I just thought this one was much more entertaining, more interesting to look at, more interesting in pretty much every way. I didn't even think the last one was particularly interesting to look at, and the storyline was just as bad. So I didn't really like it at all. But that's the only thing I'll say about that one.
And what was your score, Jamie?
7.
7. Yeah. There you go.
I'll
Still
jump.
a very solid score.
It is
I
a very solid
I thought I was
score.
going to come in at a 6. I came in at a 7.
I'm going to jump in just because I think I line up pretty similarly to what Jamie said. Visual spectacle was excellent. It's one of those, like, at some point we're going to produce CGI that 10, 20 years down the road you won't be able to look back at and be like, oh man, that looks so bad now, but back then I remember how good it was. This might be one of those. We might be at the point where it'll hold up for 100 years or whatever.
I think they'll get one thing. I think they'll get better at the whole, like, there are so many times during those big things where it does look a little ridiculous that everyone's surviving, and they kind of just have a bunch of shit flying around and people running around as if nothing's happening around them. And I think they'll get better at that. That's the only part where it becomes a little jarring for visually to watch the film.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The story sucked, and that's really important. I mean, to the movie, I get that it's a creature feature, and I can give the creature feature whatever you want to, 8, 9, 10. The story was shit. It doesn't, and you don't just give it a pardon because it's a creature feature. It was really dumb. I was always wanting to, like, shoo the characters off the screen, and the movie was really dragging. I was inclined to give it like a 3 until we finally got to the actual creature battles, which redeemed the movie for me. Just how they know to blow up a bomb next to Godzilla to make him, to bring him back to life. How they knew that was going to work. How they knew if they would just buy him a little bit of time at the end by driving their MacGuffin device through Boston.
It's a great MacGuffin. You can't have a good MacGuffin without having a name, and the Orca is a good name.
Yeah. How they knew that if we just buy him a minute, he's going to bounce back and he's going to kill King Ghidorah. But if we don't give him a minute, he's going to die. I don't know. It was dumb, and I think we're supposed to feel like Vera Farmiga like redeemed herself, but she killed millions or billions of people. We don't really know. I mean, we had creatures stomping all over the globe, so I don't think we're supposed to feel bad for her. But maybe I don't know. I didn't like any of the characters. Like,
I would say I'm happy that she had to sacrifice herself. I wouldn't have liked if they all hugged at the end and they were like, "And we're a family." I'm like, she is going to be executed.
Yeah, she had to die. She had to die.
I thought at first, like, I felt a little sad for her, but then I thought about it. I was like, she made that bed. She deserves what she got.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't think it was fully justified. Her explanation of why she did it was a little shaky, and teaming up with Charles Dance's character. Kyle Chandler, I thought, acted his part very well. I mean, he kind of does the same thing in every show and movies and kind of whispers his lines and whatnot. But I don't know. I think he did okay with it. The rest of the characters I didn't really have any fondness for. The plot was derivative, I mean, of a lot of other kaiju films. One kaiju film I really enjoy is the original Pacific Rim.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
This one felt very derivative of that, driving, the nuclear bomb, sacrificing yourself in the middle of the ocean to save the planet. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Ken Watanabe. So that one had a great story. I loved the characters.
Yeah.
I wasn't always just rooting for the Jaegers to get on screen. It was working on both fronts there. This one was, and I'm going to come right down the middle and give it a 5.
Yeah. No, I think your points are valid, especially with like giving it a pass on storyline and stuff like that. I think that's very, I think that's a very valid point to say, just because I came in wanting that visual splendor that I didn't get from 2014, and maybe that's the point. Maybe if I had already watched 2014 a long time ago, and had it go through my mind and processed it and did whatever, that I would have come in lower on this one, because I would have been like, oh, they didn't fix like the issues with it. But I felt like they fixed a lot of what my issues were with 2014, or a bunch of them, where I was like, okay, it's checking off some boxes, and I like boosted it up a little bit, and maybe that was it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they're definitely, they're dangerous. They're heading in a dangerous direction in like a Transformers type of way, where they've went pretty extreme on that visual part, and they need to, for the King Kong versus Godzilla, they need to pull it back and get some story in there, or they're going to be in some trouble, and they're going to get some bad reviews.
I mean, they did on this. I mean, this did not get very good critical acclaim.
I guess I'm surprised at because I thought 2014 didn't deliver on any of it. This delivered on something, so I don't know.
Sure,
it seems a little bit crazy that it was a little reversed. Like, I would have thought this one would have been the one that people would have been like, okay, it didn't have story, but I thought it was pretty good, 70%. And the other one would have been 40%, but it's reversed.
Yeah, I think I would have gave the 2014 a 3.5, and just to compare against Pacific Rim, I think I'd probably give Pacific Rim an 8.
Yeah, I would have given Pacific Rim an 8 as well.
All right, that's me.
All right.
Sweet deal. Who
I'll
wants to
jump
go
in.
next?
My final Zach thoughts on our final Godzilla movie. I will start this by saying, in regards to the U.S. films, this is the best one by far.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
And as Titan Goji, friend of the show, put it so well in his review, this was a movie that was made by a fan for the fans. Michael, he did. I think he did a great job with it. You look up more up. I can't even speak tonight. Looked more up on that guy, and he's a huge Godzilla fan, huge kaiju fan, from Columbus, Ohio. But he worked really closely with Toho, making the film, designing King Ghidorah, which I thought was really cool. They included a ton of sound bits and some of the original roars and some of the original music from some of the Toho era Godzilla films, which I really liked. I loved the design of all the kaiju in the film. The intro to Rodan coming out of the volcano, I thought was amazing. The battle between Rodan and Ghidorah at first, I thought was sweet in the sky with all the electricity. And then, like you guys both were saying, like just any of those visual effects, like when Ghidorah was on top of the volcano, or he's in the sky coming down. It was just so sweet. And then the music.
Is Rodan always depicted as a firebird?
Not necessarily, honestly. That was a choice that they made for this one, because they were really working those like earthly elements, if that makes sense, into some of these characters. So Rodan was like that fire, rock, soil, dirt one. What was I saying? The music. Yeah. So I really loved the soundtrack, and I really loved the choice of some of their songs. Like you heard some of that classic Godzilla theme music rolling in there at the end when he's walking in. Loved it. What else did I write down? The epic fighting, the throwbacks, the act. I mean, you guys already hit on it. I mean, but that's the thing with any Godzilla movie, right? I mean, a lot of them have strong stories, but this one was just so cluttered. There's too many characters, and too much going on. Like, which is a shame, because I like a lot of the actors in the film. It's just they were just littered in there, and it just made it all confusing. I think
the writing betrayed them.
Yeah, it did, and it's a shame because they had a lot of talent. But I agree with you guys. Vera, Dr. Emma Russell, absolutely needed to die. She was a terrible person, and I don't even think the movie should have implied whatsoever that we were supposed to feel any sympathy towards her. She needed to die. She was bad. But my favorite character in the movie was Dr. Serizawa, and I really thought Ken Watanabe did a great job in this one and in 2014. I think he was the best part of both movies in terms of the human actors.
Yeah.
But with the kaiju and the monsters, I thought it was great. I went into this movie, I remember seeing it in theaters like, all right, it's a U.S. Godzilla flick, right? Let's sit back. Hopefully there's going to be more fighting than in 2014. There was, so I was happy. And we got to talk subs, right? We don't really find out what kind of submarine was used in this film. It was just a Monarch sub, from what I found. But once again, gang, without the use of a submarine, the fate of mankind probably would have been lost. So, got to give some love to the sub. And yeah, it makes me excited for the next Godzilla vs. Kong movie. I'm going to give this one, what did I say, Jamie? A 7 last week, I thinking?
believe so, yeah.
I like the there's never enough sub action. But there was the importance of the sub in this movie is going to bump my score up a little bit. I'm going to give this one a 7.8.
Well, there we go.
Ooh, very solid score.
It could be about 20 minutes shorter.
Kind of like a hot take. Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Like cut out
really
just
shorter.
again, and not the fighting scenes. Cut out some of that storyline character stuff.
Yeah, keep on cutting that story. Let's get it
Yep.
real slimmed down.
Yep.
Nothing but monster fights.
Right.
I mean,
Literally nothing else going on. Like, what am I watching?
Wait,
here?
hear me out. Maybe they're all mutants and they're part of like a mutant brigade that tries to fight monsters. What are we thinking?
Well, and then are the
Wait
aliens
a
going to
minute.
come down?
Yeah, then
Try
the
to
aliens
control
come
the
that
monsters?
originally had King Ghidorah, so
wait a minute.
they're
Could have
involved.
used
Wait,
more
what?
I've heard this
CCH
before.
Pounder.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. She only got that one little scene. She was like, hey, we're going to cut your budget.
Alex or Kyle?
I'll go. So, as most people probably know, I think I was expecting a lot more out of this month than what I felt like I've gotten. This has been the best movie out of the ones that we've watched for me. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, the movie looks fantastic. Their budget that went into their visuals had to be huge, and it shows because it was just absolutely amazing to watch. You know it's not real, but it just looks so good anyways. So it was really cool to see that. In terms of the fighting and everything, no miniature work, and I can only take so much of that. I know that's how they used to do fight scenes and stuff with monsters back in the day, but it just looked so much better this way with the advanced technology. The characters that you guys had mentioned, I think the writing for them and it just wasn't the greatest. Ben, you mentioned Kyle Chandler just whispering the whole movie like he normally does, and I don't think it does well in this movie. I found myself rolling my eyes at that the whole time. None of the characters really stuck out to me that much except for Bradley Whitford's character, the Dr. Rick Stanton. He was just kind of the weird, dumb guy that they always seem to have in these movies, and yeah, he was smart and he had a couple funny lines, and he was the only person I was like really, I didn't mind seeing on screen because he was at least saying something that wasn't ridiculous one way or the other. In terms of the fighting between the monsters and the whole long list of all the monsters, it was pretty cool to see it. I got really confused to some of the other movies that we were watching. I think it was the GMK one with whose side the monsters were on. And I think, Zach, you mentioned that with your interview as well that you had done with Titan Goji, where it kind of seems like they kind of flipped and you can't tell who's fighting for Earth and who's the bad person, you know, but this
In
one
that
seemed...
movie?
And GMK, how they
Yeah.
all kind of switched. Yes.
Yeah, the director flipped it. Yeah.
Yep. And so I guess it's kind of more along the lines of how it should be in this movie, if I'm not mistaken, Zach. And it was definitely well more drawn out as to who is fighting who, I felt like. It was pretty cool to see the nuke underwater blowing up. I thought was kind of an interesting effect. I think you guys mentioned before, how did they know that a nuke is going to really power up Godzilla? as much as it did. And it was just an interesting scene to me how Ken's character, he sacrificed himself for Godzilla just to come back and be even stronger by blowing a nuke up underwater. I thought that scene was pretty interesting overall, but I liked it. The submarine action was fine. I think, Zach, you said if it wasn't for the sub, humans would have all died again, so we got to give it some praise for that. Overall, I think this is better than the ones that we have watched. For me, I'm just going to come in at a 6. So just a little bit higher than GMK, because I gave GMK a 5.5. And I think this one was just a bit better for me. So I'm going to come in at 6.
Nice.
Thank
All
you.
right, Kyle.
All right, I will bring up the rear here. So, I mean, I was so excited for this movie. I even specifically asked for this movie for Christmas on 4K. And I got it, which was spoiler. And I finally had an opportunity to sit down, watch a movie on 4K with my sound all the way up. Baby was out of the house. I had this thing on full blast. Wine glasses, I kid you not, were just rattling the whole time. Dog freaking out. The soundtrack to this movie is awesome by Bear McCreary. And you talk about Serge from System of a Down having his song on here. My word, I have been listening to this soundtrack at work for 3 weeks to a month now, maybe even a little longer. Just been so excited for it. And the songs and the sound are so good. And we are finally at a point, you guys have all talked about this, where CGI can look good. You look at something like Godzilla 98, you look at the CGI on that, you think, why? Why did we even do this? I don't know why they did that movie, but it finally looks good. It looks good here. I also thought it looked good in 2014, but I know we're not really talking about 2014, but story here, not fabulous like you guys are talking about, but I mean, in terms of a Godzilla story, I mean, it is what it is. Is it as complex as something like Godzilla Final Wars? No. And they really shot for the moon on that one, and they did land among the stars. I wasn't on that episode, but I would have given it much higher ratings than you guys did. Anyways, this movie I thought was great. For what we're, like you said, Zach, you're looking for an American Godzilla movie. What are we going to get? You just have a Vietnam-style flashback to 98. It's not great. And you get something like this, where visually incredible. And another thing that we've seen in a lot of Japanese films, and this one, has Japanese roots, Godzilla. They involve Antarctica. Gotta love that. Gotta get onto it. Also, they have everybody's favorite form of terrorism, eco-terrorism. Who can really,
It's a good one. It's a good one.
It is. I mean, if you're going to be in the terrorism business, I guess that's the one to be involved in, right? Whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm going on way too long. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a 7.25.
Whoa. I thought you would have been way high, Kyle.
Yeah, the way you're describing it, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to give us like a 9.
I was waiting to hear a 9. I mean, Kyle, the sub action, Kyle. Come on.
Okay. All right. We did have some sub action. I'll go just
the sub action was so weak, though. I get that it's important.
Yeah.
It was so weak.
You think it was
don't
weak,
see
but
any,
we were on it for a while.
But you don't really
One
see
thing I
anything
didn't
or inner
understand-
workings of the sub. Honestly,
But think of, you can't think of just how long we were on the sub. How long did the captain have the dick out? Only a couple seconds.
Oh, very true.
Yeah.
Sometimes a couple seconds is all it takes.
and it looked like this. Like,
wow.
It looked like they were on the Osprey still. I mean, it wasn't even like
That's
Didn't
actually true.
even-
Sometimes it was confusing. Sometimes I was like, wait, are we now on the submarine? Then they'll be on that other one. Like, oh, never mind. And eventually we're on the submarine. And it didn't feel like we changed much.
Yeah, and then they got like the underwater base. They got all these different, there was nothing really defining them from one place to the next.
One thing I couldn't come to terms with while watching this movie, though, is during the whole Rodan chase scene, there's all the fighter jets, should be zipping all in and out of the place. Rodan gets those guys, no problem. Catches up to them.
Kind of flips
We're
around.
in this giant bus of a plane, and he can't catch it. Is it that fast?
Super fast.
What was that thing called? The Argo?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
think
think
it's
that's
called the USS Argo. Yeah.
Margot.
Argo, fuck yourself.
That's it. Yeah.
Should I get into some trivia? I don't even really have much because, as I said, the IMDb trivia is super duper extra long. I didn't even read that shit because I was like,
What?
they're
What
not
about the
even,
magma blood?
Magma Blood is bullshit. I can make up anything and put it on IMDb trivia. It's horseshit. So anyways, the original director Edwards was supposed to, from the first one, from 2014, he was supposed to come back. Gareth Edwards was supposed to come back and do this one. And it was originally supposed to be released in 2018. And they kept on waiting for him because he was working on Rogue One. And eventually he was like, you can't keep waiting for me in any ways. I want to do some smaller stuff. I'm working on this. I worked on Godzilla, working on this giant Star Wars thing. Then we come back and do another Godzilla. Like, I'm feeling something smaller. So he kind of jettisoned out, and that's how we ended up with Dougherty as Michael Dougherty as the director of this one. And he was super excited because obviously, as has been mentioned, he was a huge Godzilla fan. So he kind of came in and said, it's going to be my vision, and this is how I see a Godzilla film. And so I think we do get a pretty different feeling between the two as a result of that. They, in terms of casting and stuff like that, they, all these people kind of came in and were brought in over time, starting in 2017. The interesting that I saw in that one was that pretty much every monster that you're seeing is actually portrayed by human beings in motion capture, which just seems crazy how they do that. So, King Ghidorah is portrayed by 3 people: Jason Liles, Alan Maxon, and Richard Dorton. And there were a bunch of other performers who did his body movement, stuff like that. It does seem kind of crazy that someday we'll look back on this and just how kind of amazing it was that there's this whole group and industry in acting around motion capture that perform on this. Because Godzilla, it was like the actor who portrayed Godzilla returned for this one. And that was kind of like noted. Oh, the same actor who portrayed Godzilla in the first film is coming back for the second film. And that seems kind of nuts. They want the movements to be the same. So this actor is now going to portray Godzilla again. So I thought that was kind of cool that they do, that they still do that kind of stuff.
I mean, for the monsters even, that is, you wouldn't even expect it. You think maybe,
Right.
we're going to motion capture a lion or something.
So this has an estimated budget of $170 to $200 million. They even had to kind of cut because their budget continued to balloon. They were going to have more sequences of the other Titans kind of rampaging around and coming out of their whatever the places that they were being held. But I guess if you want to be kind about it, they were their homes. And they cut those. They said it's going to be too expensive. We can't do that. And instead, they just included, at the last minute, they kind of included a couple small scenes of them rampaging around. They said the original cut of the film was 3 hours long. They had considered putting it into 2 different films. But then they decided against that, which was probably a good idea. That would have been nuts.
Was it long because of the monster scenes, or could they have expanded on the story, and then maybe had a more comprehensive storyline?
I don't know. He said he felt like they were able to get down to that 2 hour, 20-minute version of it. That was still pretty faithful to the core idea of what they wanted. So I don't think they cut anything super essential out of the story or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, they kind of jokingly referred to it as the miniseries, Godzilla the miniseries, because of how long they originally had to cut. And they seem to have settled on kind of a long cut and then had to cut it back. And then, this did not do well in theatrical release. It only earned, it's like $100-something million in the domestic box office. And overall $330 million worldwide. And given the marketing and the actual budget, it came in well under that amount, even just like base level costs. And so really didn't perform well. Already, they'd already greenlit the next one coming out this year. And so they weren't going to go back on that. That'll come out. But yeah, the success of the first one kind of made it so they greenlit 2, and now it looks like that second one might come out, and depending on how it looks, I guess it might bounce back. But I guess we'll have to wait and see, because this one did, pretty poorly at the box office.
I know
Do you think American audiences though respond better to King Kong than Godzilla?
Yeah, maybe that could be.
I know the marketing budget on this film alone was like $100 to $150 million.
Yeah,
Was what I read, which is man.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, now it's just advertising and marketing. It's nuts.
yeah.
I don't know how Kong Skull Island did, though. I'm going to look that up real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, just a quick
Oh, a shit ton.
casting what ifs. This was King of the Monsters. What other King actors might have been good here? What about Samuel L. Jackson from Kingsman: The Secret Service?
See, now it would have been
I love
interesting.
Samuel L. Jackson.
It would have. Okay, but Kyle, you got to hear my point.
But he couldn't be.
he couldn't have been in here unless he played like the son of his character from Kong Skull Island.
That would have been really
Good
funny.
call.
That would have been, or maybe he was a clone.
A clone.
Yeah, clone, even better.
Yeah,
There we go.
Or a mutant of some sort. What about Jude Law from King Arthur, Legend of the Sword?
I have no opinion on Jude Law.
Maybe Jude Law is Charles Dance. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that actually would have been fun. Kind of a younger, sexier Charles Dance, even sexier than Charles Dance.
He does. He
that
does have
even
a little bit of an
possible?
eco-terrorist vibe.
I don't know. It's true.
Yeah, he does.
What about
I could
Matthew
see Jude
Broderick
Law being an eco-terrorist.
from
No,
the
get him out of
Lion
here.
King?
Get Broderick out of here, man.
From
Get
the
him out.
Lion King.
Nobody wants him. Get
Who?
him out.
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
He's terrible.
Give him the other guy that makes a lot of stupid jokes.
The
The
other guy
U.S.
with the
guy.
glasses, Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Sam Coleman. Make him.
Actually, probably would have made a really good. That's not that bad.
What about Elijah Wood from Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King?
I'll give him the lead.
Yeah, I think that's
I
right.
agree. I agree.
Give him the lead.
And what about Ed Harris, who starred in the film just titled King, and it was actually a documentary about his life and how he abdicated the throne of England in order to pursue his passion.
I mean, Ed Harris legitimately could have been Charles Dance's character.
He could have
That's
been.
true.
Yeah,
He's
he
a-
would have been good at that.
It's funny, every time I say, oh, he's lost his fastball or he's too old now and all this stuff, he'll show up in something and I'll be like, oh, he was pretty good in that. And he's like 80-something. Or how old is he? He can't be 80, actually.
Geostorm? He was good in that.
He was not.
Ed
but,
Harris is not 80.
No. He just looks it.
69.
Oh, Jesus.
Youthful.
How has he gotten so old looking? Wow.
He's 69?
69.
Hey, I want to
Tight.
say Elijah Wood actually would have been good as that Thomas Middleditch character, the tech guy.
The glasses guy that.
Yeah, the tech.
Yeah, that
tech
glasses guy.
Instead of
Matthew
Broderick?
No, not Bradley Whitford. Thomas Middleditch is the nerdy guy.
Yeah,
that,
Middleditch.
Yeah, that's who Alex was
that's what I'm
talking
saying.
about.
Yeah, Elijah would have been good at that.
So then who's Broderick going to be?
Oh, God.
Oh, I thought you
One of
said
those
he was going to be
people that
Bradley.
gets-
He could be Bradley Whitford. He could be Dr. Rick Stanton.
Just
Well,
make
that's
one
not
of those
who I was
people that
thinking.
walked out of the helicopter and just died immediately.
Good call.
That's Broderick?
Yeah.
That'd be really funny.
All right.
Or he's like, hey, I used to study worms in Chernobyl. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then bam, you're like,
Evaporated.
whoa.
He could have
That
been
would be
he could have been
he's
the
in a
Stranger
slideshow.
Things doctor that was at the beginning.
I like the idea that it's like, oh, we discovered all these different titans, and they're flipping through a slideshow, and there's Matthew Broderick in like the Chernobyl center, the one that they're keeping in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
He's
head up
kissing a worm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then I'm gonna do.
Now, Jamie,
Yeah.
you missed a golden opportunity here. I thought at some point you were just going to say Don King, but you didn't.
I didn't because he's not an actor, and
You blew it.
this isn't a farce. Okay. It's a serious
Come on.
business.
You don't think he could do it? You don't think he could do it? Maybe shock you? Maybe
I
surprise you?
100%
Yeah.
do not. Yeah, exactly.
Is he?
Is he?
no.
He's from
Didn't he?
Cleveland, Ohio? Nice.
He's not dead.
He's
He's not
88,
around?
not dead.
Well, he's definitely 80.
He's 88,
Yeah.
not dead.
He's 6'2". You need anybody over 6 foot in the film?
I don't know. I'm going to
You
quickly
could have
jump
did
in.
Gods and Kings. That was a terrible movie from a couple of years ago.
I'm going to quickly jump in. Can I jump in? Can I come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Engage the Phantom.
Phantom's engaged, sir.
Thanks. I think it must be still going, but Phantom Zone. And this is super easy. I actually use this as part of the joke one from The Abyss to go all the way around because I wanted to include both the 2014 film, which does feature a submarine, and this film, which features a submarine. So all listeners, go back and listen to The Abyss and see that sweet, sweet cycle and take a big old bite out of it. And really just appreciate what I've done for you and all of us. I had another thing I was going to...
Jamie, promoting another episode. Get those listens up.
Yeah, but I was going to do something else, but you know what? I'm not even sure we have time to do the other thing I wanted to do.
Just do it. Who cares at this point?
Well, so last week...
What people got going on right now.
Yeah. Last week I did a little ointment special. I did a little topical correlation to what we were watching. I compared it to the XFL. I felt like in this film, when I talk about blockbusters and how it's kind of like the 3-point evolution in NBA, where they kind of looked at 3-pointers and they were like, we can't just do 3-pointers. And then someone was like, but what if we did? Because they are worth 3 points. And I feel like with these blockbusters that we have, like Transformers and like this one, they're like, well, it can't just all be jokes and monster battles. And then someone looked at it and said, but can't it? And now they have like Transformers in this, where it's just all jokes and monster battles. And people seem to eat it up for Marvel, but we may be coming to the point where they ask more of it. And they say, you know what? We also want a storyline that we care about. And we'll see if that trend kind of starts to go that way. We'll see. So pretty quick.
You can only hope, right?
One would think. I mean, I think the Transformers are the most egregious of this, where it's literally just like a comedian being like, "Isn't this crazy?" And then like a Transformer would destroy a building, and like that's all the movie is.
Hot chick.
Yeah, and then they have the whole sex appeal thing too, where like it'll just flash between a Transformer destroying a building and Megan Fox like at a car wash or something, and that's like the two scenes they have in the film.
And it sells, right?
Yeah. Ever seen the Transformers series? It's the best.
Oh man.
Alrighty.
All right. Is that all you got?
That's all I got. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we have like 12 minutes left, but you know what? Maybe we'll go over an hour and a half. Maybe we'll get to 2 hours. Maybe we'll get to 3 hours.
Let's not push it. So anyways, I have been doing Kaiju Worldwide, and it would have been a no-brainer to end with Godzilla, the guy we've been talking about all month. But you've been listening all month, so why would I talk about that? Come on. Get out of your own head. You want to know more about us, obviously. On social media lately, I have seen some posts going around about movies, and while we do only cover submarine movies at the moment, season 2 Trains coming your way, but we do watch other movies from time to time. And so there are a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 movie questions that allow you to peel back the layers of us and see who we are, what we prefer, what we like, what we hate, what we think might be not so great. And we're just going to go through these. I've asked all the guys to compile a list of their movies. So we'll just go alphabetically, and I will just start with a category, and then we'll go through, say a movie, and then move on to the next one. Sound good?
No discussion, just saying it.
You can discuss it. You can give a reason why.
Let's pick and choose if we need.
Yeah, I think that might be the best way to do it is we pick and choose. If you feel strongly about talking about the category, jump in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. 3-hour episode.
Right. Exactly.
Zach,
me?
what is a...
I'm going to preface this with I totally missed this in the group chat earlier this week because my phone, I had to factory reset it. So I did this like 5 minutes before showtime tonight.
All right, good.
So
Super
did
prepared.
I, but I'm not complaining or making excuses, Kyle. Just
Me too.
Just remember that.
I will even say I never did this.
Wow, great.
Wow.
I'll be calling on Jamie. All right. So, Zach, what is a movie that you hate?
Anything Marvel related.
Anything.
All of them?
Anything.
Even
Marvel
Doctor Strange.
Goodness.
Never saw it.
Like
Never wanted
the
to.
first Iron Man ones were pretty good.
Yeah, Iron Man 1 was pretty good.
Throw it out.
Spider-Man 1,
It spawned
X-Men
Poison
1 and 2, which I
in
know
the
you
film
haven't
industry.
seen.
What about Spawn?
Never saw it.
Now, what about? Hey, I thought you liked that Into the Spideyverse thing, right?
Oh. All right.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Rebutted me. I did. Into the Spider-Verse was a phenomenal animated film that I was very surprised about.
Oh,
Let's just
well,
tag
I know what
two
not to call on you
categories.
for. Okay, so anything Marvel, asterisk, Spider-Man, Into the Spideyverse.
That movie's awesome. John Mulaney,
Any subs?
the pig.
And you say Nick Cage is in that too?
Yeah, Nick Cage is in it. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah, I think you texted me that night. You said, Kyle, Nick Cage is in this movie. You got to watch it.
Speaking of Nick Cage, not to go off topic, I'll make this really quick. Kyle, have you seen the script, like the premise of his movie coming out next year?
Oh, it sounds phenomenal.
I can't
He's gonna
wait
be
to
in
see
a
it.
movie starring himself trying to get into a Quentin Tarantino film.
And then the FBI hires him to like take on a terrorist or something.
Nice.
Playing himself. It's awesome. I can't wait. I
I hope that is in theaters. I'm going opening night.
hope there's a sub in it.
Oh my
Maybe
gosh,
at that point a
that'd be
train.
great.
I don't know. But
That would be great. Alex.
The movie
What?
I hate is
No.
Oh.
We're going on to the next one. Or what do you
Overrated.
hate?
What?
You feel,
Or
really, you
whatever.
feel really strongly about this? What do you hate?
Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi.
Yeah, why wouldn't we all chime in
Good
with
pick.
what we hate?
And then,
Oh, we can do that.
well, that's the movie I hate. That movie sucked. It was terrible. Ryan Johnson did not do anything good for the Star Wars series because of that movie. I did not like it. I hate it.
I'm going to give Alex a thumbs up.
There we go.
Thank you. Agree with
All
that.
right. Brom, what is a movie you hate?
I said anything by Lars von Trier. If we need to be specific, I'll just say Melancholia.
Now,
Don't know what that is, so
I feel like his
elaborate.
movies are all like fart sniffer art movies that just really suck. That's
They
all there is
attract
to
a
it.
certain crowd. I
They
agree
do.
with you.
They do. Yeah.
Yes, and we are not that kind of people.
That's right. We are not sophisticates.
Yes.
I think he's a horny
Jamie,
old man.
maybe.
That's I
yeah,
agree.
I'm looking through his stuff, and I'm seeing like Dogville. That was an okay film.
Horny old man.
Jamie, do you have a movie you hate?
Yes, it'd be a little film called Strange Wilderness. Strange Wilderness may be the worst thing I've ever seen.
Zach likes that one, right?
The worst. It is unacceptably bad. I will also say, in a similar vein, Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2, but mostly Grown Ups. The first Grown Ups is actually like a lazy piece of garbage.
Not Jack and Jill.
No, that one's better. That one's better.
Man. Savage.
Kyle, are you going to say a movie you hate?
I will. And that just made me think of a movie that I hated. I couldn't even finish. I hated it so much. There was a movie that we watched in college that was surprisingly pretty great called Thanksgiving. And then they made Thanksgiving 3. It's like this weird puppet show. I don't understand. It's like Sesame Street with this killer turkey going around trying to find Thanksgiving 2 because the movie was so bad and nobody would air it. They wanted to destroy it. So he's trying to find the last copy. Great premise. Horrible. And then another movie that I really hate. I saw it in theaters. Sucker Punch.
Oh
Not-
yeah, that one's awful. Sucker
not
Punch is
good.
awful.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zack Schneider.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like offensively bad.
It's pretty bad, yeah. Okay, on to the next category. Movies.
So hold on a second. Can I just go back to the rules of this? Are we going through all of these categories? Because we will
going through
literally
all
have
of
a
them right now.
fucking 5-hour episode.
I know we are.
Yeah.
We are.
We need to just start saying the movie.
Yeah. All right.
Just
Quick.
if somebody agrees, say like plus thumbs up or something.
Sure.
Disagree, thumbs down.
All right. We'll go alphabetical order, which is Alex, Brom, Jamie, Kyle, Zach.
Let's do it.
Movie you think is overrated. Alex.
Titanic.
Unacceptable.
Jamie.
Thumbs down.
You already skipped me.
Yeah, I would also say thumbs down to that one.
Yeah, Brom.
Dark Knight.
Thumbs
See,
down.
that's also crazy, yeah. I think like if you turn in terms of ones that have been reviewed pretty well, Jurassic World.
Did you say Jurassic World?
Yeah.
Acceptable.
For me, 300. Zach.
This is overrated.
Overrated.
Dark Knight Rises.
Okay. Movie you love, Alex.
Interstellar.
Brom.
V for Vendetta.
Thumbs up.
Jamie.
Anchorman.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Down.
Thumbs
Thumbs down.
up. For me, Tropic Thunder.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Zach.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Thumbs up.
Ooh,
Nice.
thumbs up.
Yeah.
10 thumbs up. Alex, movie that you can watch over and over again.
Rat Race.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Brom.
Billy Madison.
Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah.
Thumbs up. Jamie.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Thumbs up.
Ooh, good one.
For me, it's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Zach.
Dumb and Dumber.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Oh, look at that. We're all about in the same thumbs up here. Movie that made you fall in love with movies, Alex.
The Fireman's Ball.
What the hell is that?
It's an old one, man.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I didn't mean to try to elaborate on it. Brom.
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, Jamie.
Go with a little classic. My dad, when my mom would go out of town, my dad would start up the Star Wars trilogy on Betamax, and we would watch all 3 movies because he had nothing better to do with us.
Oh,
so we
perfect.
would just
Thumbs up.
close up all the stuff, throw on that trilogy, and get to go to town on it.
Ooh. Man, that is good.
Yeah, thumbs up. Good one.
For me, Jurassic Park.
Oh, thumbs up.
Yeah,
Thumbs up.
that's a
Zach.
good one.
I can't think of one right now. It's
Thumbs
blank.
down.
Okay. Yeah, thumbs down. Big time. What the heck? What about Godzilla? Come on. All right. Movie that changed your life, Alex.
Godzilla 98.
Nice. Yeah, to change your life.
For the worst. Everything went down.
Thumbs down. Thumbs down. Schindler's List.
Thumbs
That's a
up.
good one. I would say Schindler's List is on the list of ones where it's better than you could even possibly imagine it is. Like there's a reason it's like top 5 film ever made kind of stuff.
I didn't see that movie until like last year for the first time ever in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Made out there in it.
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, for Change My Life, it's kind of an odd answer, but there's a movie called Grind. And when I was in high school, me and Patrick, and then my friends would watch it all the time. And it's a really, really bad movie, but it was the movie that we would watch together. And so it kind of was one of these things where we became really good friends and still are very good friends watching this stupid movie called Grind.
Thumbs down for breaking the rules.
That's changed my life. Why is that changing my life?
I'm teasing.
Will that be a part of season 2?
Movies that changed your life?
No, that'd be skateboarding movies. So that'd be season 7 or something. Whatever.
Okay. For me, movie that changed my life, started this podcast. Thank you to Alex. Phantom.
Good one.
That's true. That did
Yeah,
change
it's
our
actually true.
lives.
Thumbs up. Yeah,
Thumbs
right.
up.
Yep, thumbs up.
We all change our answers to Phantom.
Yeah. Zach, how about you?
No, I did write mine down, so I did have Jurassic Park on this one.
Yeah, Jurassic Park's a good one.
Thumbs up. Great movie.
It changed my life because it kept me up for about a week straight when I was 5 years old. My dad took me to see it.
Oh, Doug.
Scared the hell out of me. We lived in the woods at the time.
Man, it is a solid one. Next on the list, movie that surprised me, Alex.
Star Wars Rogue One. And like a good surprise. Like I was blown away at how
All right, this
good
could
it
be
was.
good or bad.
Thumbs up,
just
Alex.
to preface that.
Very thumbs up.
Yeah, Rogue One.
That's
It was
funny.
amazing.
In a similar vein from mine, I heard how bad this movie was. Finally watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it. Solo.
It's good. I like
This is
it.
going to be crazy, guys, because I was coming in with Solo. I watched it for the first time. I was like, this is going to be shit. And I watched it. I was like, that was actually really fun. I like that. What,
Yeah,
what,
it's
was,
not
what
bad.
was the
Yeah,
problem?
It's pretty good.
In a similar vein to sub movies, Destination Tokyo blew me away.
That's not the vein we're
not
in right
think-
now, Kyle.
I know. Just an old movie like that from the, what was that, 1930s or something? I mean, Did not think it would be that good. Surprised me. Zach.
A movie that surprised me was The Sixth Sense. The ending.
Oh,
good one.
Get it? Damn, guys. Thumbs down to all you.
I will rebuttal with a thumbs down on you.
Ooh.
Oh,
Thumbs down, War. World War Brom about to kick itself up. Guilty pleasure movie. Alex.
Tokyo Drift.
Oh, I
Thumbs
love
up, big time.
Yeah,
Thumbs
yeah.
up.
Pitch Black.
That's a good one. But can you skip over me for a second? I'm still trying to figure this one out.
Well, it's not going to be for long because Snakes on a Plane.
Oh.
Zach?
Zach, how about you?
I mean, when we say guilty pleasure, what are we saying?
Like
A movie that might not
bad
be
movie
great, but
or a
you'd love
movie
it.
that, like a mediocre movie that you love.
I also want to say
mediocre
Kung
movie?
Pao, Enter the Fist.
Dude, see, Compound.
This would be like Strange Wilderness for you.
But, I mean, I kind of want to say, is Hot Rod in here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I love.
Hot Rod's
some
so
people
stupid.
don't
That's
like
not a
Hot
guilty
Rod.
pleasure, though. I love Hot Rod.
I love it too.
I don't.
Well, what's guilty
Hot Rod-
pleasure then? Titanic?
Hot
I
Rod is-
Strange
no, no, no.
Wilderness, like a bad movie that you really
don't
love.
think Strange Wilderness is bad.
You got to admit it's a bad movie, Zach.
Yeah.
Okay, Strange Wilderness. Strange Wilderness. Oh, that's my
All
vote.
right.
And
Okay.
I'm gonna do Tango and Cash.
All right.
That movie that you've referenced multiple times that none of us really know. But
Watch Tango and Cash. No, I think
do
Cobra
it.
is the one I keep on mentioning. This is a different
you
Sylvester
mentioned a
Stallone
lot
film.
of these things. Favorite tearjerker, Alex.
So okay, again, favorite, or are we talking about like one that we see a lot and we think is funny?
Not funny. You're not. What do you mean? Like laughing, crying from laughter?
Like,
Or-
yeah, like laughing, crying. Well, okay.
Rat race.
So, like, here's a couple of them. Independence Day. At the end, when they finally.
That's true. It's a good speech and stuff.
Does the speech get to you, Alex, every time?
Speech gets me every time. And then Sad Click with Adam Sandler in it.
God, thumbs up. Fucking good pick.
I'm coming in with, I think, what is a pretty legendary tearjerker, Hardball.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
I'm just kidding.
Wait, you guys don't like
For tearjerker category, it's up
That's
there.
Keanu, right? Just
Yep.
so I have the right movie in my head. Yeah.
Is that the one with the team where they're like, we're going to the,
The
ship?
baseball team.
Inner city school, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's a tough one because I don't really watch too many rom-coms except tongue-in-cheek. So I was going to say Here on Earth, which is basically like the mascot of the... Do you guys know I had a website? It's called badmovietwins.com. It's badmovietwins.com. And it's kind of like the mascot of it. And it's like basically the cheesiest rom-com ever. So I'll do that one, Here on Earth. I've seen it so many times. I watch it every year pretty much.
So is this a movie that's making me cry in general? Or
Yeah.
Or maybe not you, because you're very tough, but maybe somebody who doesn't have the emotional body armor like you do.
So I took this when I read this quickly, and I'm a very sensitive man, Kyle. And
I do not believe that.
when I was a child, one of the first movies I ever saw that I cried at, and I still tear up to this day, is The Land Before Time, when Littlefoot's mom dies. Just shatters me like a mirror.
Yeah.
Wow. That's brave of you to admit.
Oh!
Yeah.
I got mine. What was that Pixar film? Inside Out.
Bing Bong?
Bing Bong. Bing Bong.
Bong
That's the
dies.
one. Because that's the one where I remember watching it. I was like, I watched it. I forget where first time. I was like, oh, that was amazing. And then I forced my wife to watch it. And when Bing Bong was happening, she like looked over at me and was like, my God. Because I was like literally on the verge of like I like she could see like the tears welling up in my eyes as we watched Bing Bong sacrifice himself.
Thumbs up.
Really?
Thumbs up, Jamie. I cried during that.
That one it just really hit me. That one. Bing Bong.
never seen
I
that
just
one.
like I can't even watch the film anymore because I know I'm gonna cry.
Bing Bong was a sad scene. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man. For me, kind of skipped over me. It's fine. This movie also surprised me came out. Somebody's been a little obsessed with it, trying to keep it going. Star is Born.
Ah.
Thought that was the end.
Thumbs up.
Like that movie.
Love that movie.
And final category, movie I should have seen by now, but have not. Alex.
Doctor Strangelove.
Thumbs up. I need to see
Never
it too.
seen it. I've never seen it. I know.
Same.
It's been on my list for a while.
I've got a classic on my list that I'm going to say. Nice.
I do as well. A few.
I'm going to give
Brom, how about you?
answer you can't refuse. The
Oh, yeah?
Godfather.
Oh.
Rocky.
Yo, Adrian.
It's funny because I would say something similar. I've seen The Godfather, but I've never seen Godfather 3, and I feel like I should see it, even though it's considered not that good.
Okay. Me. Same with you, Brom. Godfather. I have not seen it.
It's amazing. It was on TV. I was watching it just last night. It was on TV. I was
And
I can't stop watching this right now. He was about to go to the Italian restaurant.
See, and I don't know. I don't know what that even means.
You don't even know what the reference is.
No, not at all.
I'm like,
And
what is he
another
even
movie that
talking
you guys
about?
have even mentioned in this, I haven't seen. I have it upstairs because there's another one I asked for Christmas because I want to watch it. Is Schindler's List. Haven't seen it.
Oh,
It's amazing. It's really, really good.
It's
gonna
an
make out
emotional
during it.
roller coaster.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you're a big
Right.
Rafe Fiennes guy.
Oh yeah. And
Friend
Zach,
of
how
the
about
show.
you?
Citizen Kane.
Oh,
I need to see
yeah,
that.
that's an oldie. Yeah.
Okay, and that took forever, but it's done now. So
Thanks, Kyle.
on to the next thing.
What is the next thing?
Yeah,
News.
this next thing. Oh God, let's just skip the news.
Yeah, let's skip the news. Let's skip my countdown. My countdown's pretty shite as well.
Just skip. Okay, I got an H.I. Sutton article. I'll see real quick.
All right, the
Friend of
news
the
is,
show.
news is back on the menu, boys.
Back on the menu, boys.
It's only one article, and I found it. It's by our guy H.I. Sutton, and it just came out today, earlier this morning,
Wait, what day is it?
February the 18th.
Oh my goodness.
We just dated the episode.
I know.
Yeah, we really just did it.
Yeah, but
Alex
yeah,
did.
whatever.
Do we just want to start over?
Yes.
All right, I stopped recording. Just tell me when, Kyle.
And go.
I want to hear this news. Shut up.
It's really not news. It's just it's H.I. Sutton doing what he does best and giving us up-to-date information around the world. And he's talking about how Taiwan is now getting more subs, Taiwan and Vietnam, the Philippines now are starting to get more subs. It's basically just a whole article saying that if you have a submarine in your Navy now, you kind of have a little bit more power, or I want to say a little bit, but a significant amount of more power than you did before. And I think especially in the like Pacific island countries and so forth, having more underwater power is pretty strong. So Thailand's purchasing it. He goes on to list everything. He says Philippines hopefully aspires to operate them, but Myanmar, Bangladesh, Taiwan, Singapore, Indonesia. I mean, he just goes on and on about all of these that finally have them. But the one thing that struck me the most is North Korea has an estimated 71 submarines,
Damn.
which I think
Building
is
up
pretty
that
high.
fleet.
Yeah, but he did say they're mostly dated, but still pretty impressive.
Right. I mean, you think about those diesel electrics, so they can run almost undetected.
Yeah. Well,
And
I mean,
a little word of caution for all you nations buying up these subs. You might not have used them before. Take a lesson from India. Shut the hatch.
Yeah, try to close the door.
shut the hatch. Yep. Or North Korea, don't get caught in a fishing net.
Good one, too.
Yeah. Forgot
Very
about
true.
that.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Let's keep it moving. No more. No more news. Subs
No
done.
more.
Nope.
Zach
Got
Facts,
it.
it's Zach Facts.
Got it.
When you're going.
I got no facts.
What? Is that a Zach fact, though?
He got us. And smash cut.
I got nothing.
You really don't have any Zach facts? You could make something up real quick.
He is
out of the
dangling the
$200
carrot
million
on a stick in front of us.
Out of the $200 million budget, the post-credit scenes were $75 million. Boom, Zach fact.
He just wants us to beg for it.
You don't even need me, guys. That's it, right there.
Please, Zach.
Wow.
Please give us the Zach facts.
At least one. Give us one Zach fact, Zach.
One Zach fact.
One Zach fact.
Guys, I got home from work at 5 o'clock and asked if he wanted to play some Escape from Tarkov, and he said no, he's getting prepared for the podcast. That was 3.5 hours before the podcast began.
Zach facts. That's Zach fact brewing time right there.
That is Zach fact.
Here's a good fact.
Factory.
In the Japanese dub version, Ken Watanabe did his own voice. Boom.
Nice.
Fact.
Is that a Zach fact or is that a fact?
That's both.
Oh, well, wait, what?
That's Ken Watanabe's cousin, Ken Watanabe.
Whatever.
Bradley Whitford was given the script under the title Billy Madison 2, so he immediately signed on.
See, there you go.
That's
nice.
a good one. Yeah. Charles Barkley was actually cast as one of the other Titans, considering his previous role as an opponent of Godzilla. All right.
Millie Bobby Brown was actually hired thinking that it was Bobby Brown and was going to be performing for the soundtrack.
Nice.
Come on, Kyle. Come up with one.
Your turn,
I
Kyle.
was sitting there trying to think
Zach
of anything,
fact.
but all my mind went to was like Tim Tebow, and I have no idea why. And
Originally, there's a post-credit scene where Tim Tebow was going to fight Godzilla, but they end up just throwing a football back and forth with each other.
Oh, because Tim Tebow's a good guy.
They couldn't use any of the footage.
But they couldn't use any of the footage.
All right.
there you go. There you go, man. That's
it.
That's it. That's all we got. That's it. Thank you for listening to Submersion. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every Thursday. If you like what you heard, please leave us a rating wherever you listen. Want to interact with us? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also love to get messages from all of you. If you have a suggestion, a comment, or just anything you'd like to share, please email us at macestudios@gmail.com.